Bill Cosby got the rich man's deal. Let me explain. I'm quite serious about this. This is not hyperbole. This is not, a metaphor. This is literally what happened. Is this prosecutor who then, later went on to become one of Trump's lawyers and, spreading Trump's insanity. So this, shall we say, low ethics prosecutor to begin with is, it doesn't really want to send Bill Cosby to jail, for whatever reason. Men sticking up for men, God only knows. But anyhow, he doesn't want to send Bill Cosby to jail. So he goes to the women who Bill Cosby had raped, or at least some of them, and says, at least the ones in his state, and says, how about I get some money out of him instead? The guy's a multi-millionaire. I can get you tens of millions of dollars. Instead of putting him in jail. And a few of them said, okay, cool, let's do it. And so they do a civil lawsuit, and when they do the civil lawsuit, there's no jail time in a civil lawsuit. It's civil rather than criminal. And so they do a civil lawsuit, and the prosecutor says to Cosby, if you tell the truth in the civil lawsuit, if you don't lie under oath in the depositions, we will not use that against you in a criminal court. And Cosby's like, okay, cool, here's the truth. I gave these women drugs, got them knocked out, and then raped them. And the whole country goes, oh my God, and all this blowback happens, and the prosecutor then says, whoa, I can't deal with this political pressure, so I'm going to try and throw Bill Cosby in jail too. Or actually, I think by that time he had left, and his office said that. But the point is that if Bill Cosby hadn't been worth millions, they wouldn't have tried a civil settlement to begin with. That's only something you can do with somebody who's got so much money that for victims, it's better to get millions of dollars than it is to throw somebody in jail. It's the rich man's deal. Just think about it. This is what Donald Trump got too. Just imagine if you and I got together and said, hey, let's create a phony university. We'll put together a nice website. We'll put a well-known name at the top of it, and we will let's start Thom Hartmann University, and we will, you and I, and we will use whatever credibility I have for this thing, and we'll tell people you're going to get real degrees, and you can go out in the world and get a job with these degrees, or you can learn how to make money with these degrees. In Trump's case, it was real estate. And I'm going to teach you how to make money, and you're going to do really well. And by the way, all you have to do is pay me 10s, 20, 30,000 bucks. And you and I make millions. And the people who enrolled in our university got nothing. Bupkis. Worse than nothing. They learned less than they could have learned on a couple of YouTube videos. But you and I are not rich. What happens? We get busted for fraud and we go to jail. The federal jail and state jails are full of people who are there because of fraud. So why isn't Donald Trump in jail? Well, because he could afford to pay a $25 million fine. The people that he screwed got together and said, we'd rather have our money back than see him go to jail. So Trump University pays Trump pays $25 million and shuts down Trump University. Same thing. What if you and I started a private charity and said, we're going to go out and solicit money from rich people, and we're just going to put that money in our pocket, which is highly illegal. There are nonprofits all over this country that very, very carefully keep track of their accounting and their expenses so that this kind of thing doesn't happen. But that's exactly what Trump's charity did. Him and Don Jr. and Ivanka and Gums, what's his name, Eric, and Princess Ivanka. The four of them were just feeding at the trough of the so-called Trump charity. And what does the prosecutor say? Oh, you have to shut it down. Sorry, can't do that. Rich people don't go to jail in this country. Think about, tell me the name of the last really, truly rich person that you know who went to jail. The former CEO of United Healthcare. Not Hemsley, who almost made $1 billion, but the guy before him, Dollar Bill McGuire. He made about $1.5 billion out of United Healthcare, the big insurance company. And the federal government came and said, hey, wait a minute, at least 300 million of this you took fraudulently. Now, I guarantee you, if you're an average Joe and you figured out a way to get 300 million bucks out of a company and stick it in your own pocket fraudulently, they wouldn't just say, hey, would you please pay this back? You'd find your ass in prison. But Dollar Bill McGuire, hey, I can just write you a check for $200 million. So, name for me one really, truly rich person who committed these kind of crimes that the average small-time, you pass a bad check, you go to jail. For 50 bucks at the local Walmart, you go to jail. And when I say, name a rich person who went to jail, the one name people always say is Bernie Madoff. Bernie Madoff didn't start out a rich guy. And by the way, Bernie Madoff's main crime was ripping off people who were richer than him. So the lesson of that isn't that people go to jail for fraud, it's that people go to jail when they defraud rich people. Donald Trump University was ripping off average people. Bill Cosby was not raping socialites. He was raping women who wanted to be actors and actresses. I mean, this is, we have a two-tiered, Michael Cohen. He paid off Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal on behalf of Donald Trump, a crime that he went to prison for, and Donald Trump ordered it. And Alan Weisselberg cut the checks. Are they going to prison? Oh, no. Oh, no. We don't do that to rich people in this country.